On the morning of August 10th, 1905, an explosion rocked the town of Bellwood, PA. The Broadway severed and two freight trains lay in ruin. But this was no collision. This was the boiler explosion of 2245, a story with a dark twist. Bellwood is a simple town. It's the first stop east of Altoona and was first home to the narrow-gauge Bell's Gap Railroad and a smaller Pennsylvania. But as Altoona grew more important and the Bell's Gap made standard as a branch line, Bellwood found itself in a unique position. It was 2 train lengths from the crowded major yard in Juniata, so Bellwood Yard became the East Local. Cars bound for the branch, Bellefonte Central, Lewisburg and Tyrone, Huntington and Broad Top, and the East Broad Top were sorted in and out, along with locals such as our ill-fated BH1, the Harrisburg local, serving all the industries on Main Track 1. With this, the yard featured a roundhouse, hog track, and back shop. Due to the motive power crunch at the turn of the century, the Pennsylvania Railroad lacked a true switcher fleet. With many of the older models retired, the only locomotives available were the in-production H6s. The Pennsylvania Railroad H6 is the most prolific class of steam ever built for North America. 2,000 of these 280 consolidations would be built between 1899 and 1913 by the Pennsy, Baldwin, and Alco. With their 56-inch drivers and 43,000 pounds of effort, they were able to do any job the railroad needed. The disaster. Engineer Nicholas H. Murphy and fireman John A. Lucas reported for duty to the trainmaster, J.B. Fisher, around 2:40 a.m. Earlier, at 1:07 a.m., Murphy was found passed out on his couch, sluggish, tired, hard at seeing, which was strange for a man who's never drank. Originally signed locomotive 1994, another H6. Murphy would sideswipe another train, taking it out of the yard. He then brought 1994 to the roundhouse and swapped for the freshly serviced 2245. Good condition, as J.A. Rucker, the night roundhouse foreman, reported, to take the 6 a.m. Harrisburg train. Conductor George Barnhart and flagman James Walker took to the caboose of the 50-car freight. Murphy noted an air leak to brakeman Youngwood and sent him to take a look. 6 a.m. came. Passing EF Tower, the train trudged. 5 minutes later, the boiler would explode, killing engineer Murphy instantly. Lucas would survive, dying on his way to the hospital. Extra 2361 West would see this explosion. 14 cars of 2245 would scatter the tracks, and 2361's engineer John Parson and conductor Hallahan would be injured in the collision, but stopped to attempt assistance. Glowing red crown sheet pieces littered the ground. The investigation. Murphy was found at fault by jury based on evidence of 23 witnesses and the Altoona machine shop investigators. Low water was the boiler's fail, but some claim Murphy was intoxicated. By Isaac Waynett's comment, being a neighbor. His son, however, argued that he'd never drank once, but his condition was common, then not well known. Diabetes was a rare but known disease with no cure in early 1900s. Murphy, by testimonial, showed clear signs of suffering. This condition, however, would befell someone at the age of 47. After all, he was born in 1858. Tragically, he was misunderstood and died of medical reasons. He was buried in Riverview Cemetery in Huntington, fireman Lucas in Hollidaysburg. I made a plainly difficult disaster card for the incident. I believe you will feel the same. I became interested in this accident from a piece of the locomotive given to me from a home cleanout near Wilkes-Barre. This was a simple turret valve cleanout accessory plug. Stamped for the day the locomotive was released from the evidence pen to the Juniata shop crews who would rebuild it. I was lucky to bring it to the last H6, so for the first time since 1905, it was near a member of its class. Thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.